gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hello, nice to see you. I know I wasn't here yesterday, we'll talk about that in a moment. Welcome along to our Sunday night live stream. We're going to catch up on what has been a very frustrating weekend, to say the least, for Celtic. Just a couple of things to address straight off the bat of the stream. Let's get out of the way. Number one, this wasn't planned. Wasn't meant to be doing a live stream tonight. It was a video. I had it recorded, sat down, about 20 minutes worth, sat down to edit it, and the microphone wasn't on. Yep, the microphone was gone. So I, instead of just sitting and repeating myself directly after it and doing it in video form, I decided, you know what, we'll jump on a live stream, we'll get a live catch-up. Since I wasn't here yesterday, I've already seen a few people giving it the usual, oh, you've not turned up for the match reaction after you've drawn. Oh, you never turn up when Celtic don't win. I warned you all. Well, I said there was not going to be a match reaction yesterday, whether it was win, lose or draw. I was busy, I had plans, I was out cruising the West End dressed as LA Knight. There was no match reaction yesterday. Apologies for that. We would have had one if I wasn't busy. So instead, you get a kind of 2-in-1. You get a reaction to the game yesterday, and also a reaction to the scenes at the end of the game at Ibrox this afternoon as Rangers closed that gap in the dying minutes of the game. So all very frustrating this weekend. We're going to try and talk about it all. So you guys are here. You can get your questions in as the stream goes on as well. And like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be much appreciated on that road to 50,000 subscribers. Make sure to get it done. Nice to see everybody piling in. Hello, Chef Di. Nice to see you. Hi, hello. People piling in. Oh, nice to see you too yesterday. I enjoyed it. Giacomo, thank you. Giacomo, sorry. I can't speak. It was good to see you too. Mark, Mike, everybody who's in the chat right now, hello. It's nice to see you. Let's just get straight into things, shall we? Sadly, yesterday we didn't get any penalties or late goals to help us on our way to 3 points. But listen, jokes aside, and we'll come on to talking about how the result today affects us. A really frustrating one yesterday for Celtic, a 0-0 draw, which kind of is a bump in the road. And it is incredibly frustrating that our lead at the top of the table goes from 7 now to 5 points. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to get carried away. I'm not going to be overly negative. And we can't let today's result either take away anything from our great start to the season so far. We control our own narrative, right? Celtic control the narrative of the season. We're 10 games in, we've won 8 and we've drawn 2. It's a near perfect start to the season. And it's not possible to go and win 38 games in a league campaign. Nobody's done it, nobody will do it, winning 30 out of 38. There's always going to be some minor bumps on the road, and yesterday was one of those bumps on the road. Sadly, Brendan Rodgers couldn't put his Easter Road hoodoo to bed. That still seems to exist. Still yet to win a game at Easter Road as Celtic manager. But there's a lot of things to take into consideration about yesterday's game. I think the big conversation and what has become the overwhelming point of controversy, you could say, is the lack of depth at Celtic Football Club at the minute and the people that we're turning to on the bench. And we're going to have a conversation about that because we are now in the year 2023. I feel like this is what people have been annoyed with the most and most angered with yesterday. The fact that we are now in October 2023 and we're relying on James Forrest, Mikey Johnston, Tony Ralston, guys like that to come off the bench. And I mean, no disrespect to the players individually because they're all, great professionals. They've all contributed individually to Celtic. All these players that are there, they've got a part to play and they've done things. But when you're 0-0 in a very frustrating, a very dry game, and you need someone to grab it by the scruff of the neck, and you need somebody to change it in the year 2023, that's not the people who we should be turning to. We should not be turning to Mikey Johnson. We should not be turning to James Forrest. And I hope that it is a wake up to the board. I hope that they see that, take that as a call, and take some points on board to January to realise that the recruitment has to be better. Don't get me wrong. We have made some fantastic signings over the last couple of years. Recruitment has been good. Has it been good enough? It's a completely different question. Come back to the transfer window in the summer there, I was somebody who was probably more optimistic and more pleased than a majority of Celtic fans. But that didn't mean I was delighted. I just wasn't annoyed. I wasn't overly distraught over what we've done in the transfer window, but I wasn't overly pleased either. I think that there still needs to be work done in this squad to really optimise us to our best. And that includes trimming a lot of the fat that's there in the side. We've got to get rid of some players. There's too many registered players in this squad who are never going to be able to contribute to Celtic to the standard we need. And you've got to replace that with players who are that standard. And I mean, James Forrest made his Celtic debut in 2009. It is now 14 years later, and he's still coming off the bench for Celtic, which shouldn't be happening. And that, opinions aside of James Forrest, I'm not saying anything bad about the guy, but the position that we're in, that shouldn't be happening. And it's the same with some of the other guys coming off the bench. Thank you for the donation, Ben, by the way. In 2023, we were playing Ralston. What's happened to and there's another guy. Have we got the required... Thank you for the donation, by the way. Have we got the required attacking depth to change a game? No. Because when we need someone to kind of alleviate the pressure from Kyogo's shoulders, when you need to bring a striker on, you need to bring someone on who's going to score goals when it's not Kyogo's day, we're now turning to somebody who's really out of form, and he's, for a striker, not scoring goals. He's not scoring. He's not scored all season, and his record is kind of getting worse and worse. And my patience is wearing thin. I don't want to say that he's not good enough or done or whatever, but I think that we are lacking someone who comes in and really puts the pressure on Kyogo, because Kyogo's place is secure there. It was a different story when Giacomakis was at the club, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing again with Giacomakis, but we need a striker who is going to come on and be able to change a game for us, and right now that's not. So yeah, we're leaving ourselves. I feel that Brendan Rodgers will definitely leave that game yesterday feeling a little bit shortchanged in terms of, the options he gets to turn round to. Has he been backed enough? Yeah, of course he has, but I think that they can do better. I think that they can give Brendan Rodgers more tools, because we should be running away week in, week out with the quality that we have, and obviously that is impossible, but we can make this job a hell of a lot easier on ourselves if the board just realise that, wake up, smell the coffee, and go out and do what they have to do. Can't put excuses out there though. Yesterday, the speed, the tempo, they were the two things Brendan Rodgers spoke about the most. They were missing from yesterday's game. Were we tired from Wednesday night? Maybe, but that's not an excuse. You can't suddenly just decide that a European game or a midweek game slows you down at the weekend. We just weren't at the races yesterday, and these things happen. Once again, you're never going to win 30 out of 38 games. If you think that's going to happen, cloud cuckoo land, As I said, we've won 8 out of 10. We've drawn the other 2. It's a near perfect record at the moment. And it was just one of those games that things did dry up for Celtic a little bit. We were all over them. I think we had about 20 shots in goal. Doesn't paint the full picture, of course. You can't just base a game off stats and pointless shots and shots that P-rolled into the keeper. We did force Marshall to make a couple of big saves, of course. He pulled off a couple of good stops. But things were just a little bit drier yesterday. And the manager acknowledged that after the game. That's something that I'm sure... Look, listen, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind, with all due respect to St Mirren, because they've had a fantastic start to this season. With all due respect to them, I have no doubt in my mind that we'll pick it back up on Wednesday night at Celtic Park. I think that Celtic will go out refreshed and looking to right the wrongs of this weekend. Try and give themselves the best chance of maintaining the power position in this league table. They don't want to drop any more points anytime soon, and we could have had a favour done today. Didn't happen, but we control our own narrative. Things were just a little bit too dry for Celtic yesterday, and it's annoying because you need players to step up, and I thought that we were quiet. I thought, O'Reilly, for example, he never really got that opportunity in the game to really stand up and push through the way that he has. He was kind of vacant in situations yesterday in certain segments of the game. But these things happen from time to time, and it's about how you bounce back from it that makes it all the more important. So I'm hoping that we do bounce back on Wednesday. But the lead at the top of the table has been cut to 5, from 7 to 5. We thought that there was going to be a little bit of luck our way today, but we'll come on to that in a moment. Just want to give a quick shout out to Ian. £5 donation. Thank you, Ian, as always. Absolute legend. Saying, hi Ryan, surprised that you're on live. There's been problems with live streams on YouTube all day. I'm not bald, by the way. I see Nathan saying I look bald. It's just the skin fade. I've got my hair's there. It's underneath. I can't really take a hat off once I've had a hat on. My hair's a state. Don't worry, not bald. But thank you, Ian, for the donation. Yeah, I heard there was a lot of problems with some live streams today. And when I put up the tweet saying that I was going to be live on the channel tonight, I had a few people in the replies and such going, oh, the live streams aren't working, maybe not the best idea. But nobody's really said anything's wrong. I did have a look at someone else's live stream before I came on here. I think it was like, I don't know, some YouTuber doing something. Surprisingly. But theirs seem to be fine, so I think they've maybe sorted the issue. Yeah, thank you for the donation, Ian. I'm glad that we're on and it seems to be relatively hassle-free. But today, yeah, obviously very frustrating. Hearts have the lead in that game for the majority of it. 90th minute, Rangers get another penalty. They then find a winner. They end up walking away with all 3 points. Even if they drew that game today, of course, it would have helped Celtic massively. It would have maintained that 7-point lead at the top of the table. Look, listen, nothing changes. We're 5 clear, which is still a very nice, healthy cushion to have at the top of the table. We still have massive games to play. Look, Brendan Rodgers, we had that slip yesterday, of course. He had his slip. We drew the game, we dropped points, and that is disappointing. It's frustrating. But the big games this season, the ones that determine you lifting league titles, like the game at Ibrox so far, we won. Keep doing the job against Rangers, which I'm more than sure we will. We'll be fine. Rangers weren't anything special today. They got the result. They're obviously trying to build up something with Philip Clement, but you know, that'll take time, and we just need to keep, as I said, controlling our own narrative. There's no point in paying attention to things that might go our way or not our way when they're playing. Just focus on what we're doing, and we pick up our wins again, we'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. It just is frustrating because at 1 minute you're thinking, oh, nice, nothing's changed. They've dropped points, and then bang, obviously they get that late goal, but it's what happens. Just overall, it really just chipped into how annoying yesterday was, and that's the thing about these games. I feel like this is something that's always been difficult in Scotland, and Celtic often find a way. We're always good at finding a way. We've done it this season. You know, if we've found goals late, it transcends managers. We've always found a way in some occasions. But sometimes you just get those games in Scotland, don't you, where the opposition squeeze you. You know what I mean? The opposition squeeze you. And the longer it's 0-0, the harder the game becomes, because you start getting desperate, and the opposition, they also get a bit desperate. They get a bit desperate to keep their point alive. And Hibs done that yesterday, and they done it. I've got an itchy nose, lads. Sorry. They done that yesterday, and they done it to an extent that meant that, you know, they were growing in confidence, and they could keep us out, and we were getting a bit more tired. Legs weren't there. These things happen in Scottish football sometimes. So, you know, we need to just learn our lessons from it, and we just need to be in a position of power in these games. You know, put the game to bed early if we can. Just sadly yesterday, we couldn't find the net. So annoying. My nose is still really, really itchy. I think the big conversation, you know, I can't believe Mikey Johnson and James Forrest are coming on. That's unbelievable. That we should not be there as a football club. And that isn't the manager's fault. It's not. I mean, he's the one bringing them on, but who else is he going to bring on? The other options aren't great either. And I think he made these 5 substitutions. We need to do some serious recruitment in January and strengthen the depth in this team, and we need to trim the fat. Players like Mikey Johnson, they shouldn't be at Celtic. No disrespect to him, and I wish him the best in his career. He shouldn't be at Celtic. So yeah, a lot of work to be done on that front. But listen, I'm still happy with how the season's going. So let's get some questions and answers done, shall we? Even if it's related to yesterday, if it relates to the game today, whatever, just get some questions in. We'll do a wee bit of a Q&A. Do I know where home is? I actually don't. I don't know. And I wonder where he is. Because there's never been an injury addressed, but he wasn't involved in the squad yesterday. Wasn't even on the bench, was he, yesterday home? We've seen about 20 minutes of him from since the Feyenoord red card. I don't know. I don't know if that's telling as to where Brendan Rodgers thinks he is at the minute in terms of his quality. I've been impressed with some glimpses that we've seen of home, but, you know, sometimes, you know, the manager sees the broader picture. He sees him in training 5 days a week. And, you know, if he's not going to come on, if he's not prepared to come on, then the manager's obviously making that decision for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So I don't know where he is. And I don't know if it's something that Brendan Rodgers might be asked. Look, Wednesday will be really telling. Wednesday's the kind of game where Holmes should be back in the squad, surely, especially after a 0-0 draw. You'd think, okay, let's get one of the newer guys in. Let's see what he can do. If he's not on the bench on Wednesday, that'll be a bit worrying for him, I would say. But we'll just have to wait and see. Is Tello available? I really want to see him play. The last we heard about Tello was that he was back in training, which would signal to me that he is available if he's back in proper first-team training. But once again, like Home, not been involved in any squads. So God knows when we'll see him. But, I mean, surely to God, Tello can't be that much worse than Forrest to not be getting picked in squads. Surely there's still a fitness issue there with Marco Tello. Surely that injury's still healing, or he's just not up to scratch, because you cannot be telling me that Forrest is a better player than him. Well, that sounds really disrespectful, James Forrest, who's obviously a good football player, but in this day and age, surely Tello should be getting ahead of him, is what I mean. You know? And I mean it with all due respect, but come on. And if he's not, then another blunder from the signings there and the recruitment there, but yeah, we'll need to wait and see. Maybe they did. Maybe they ran away together, Mike. Maybe you're on to something. Maybe they did. Maybe they're off. They thought to themselves, Australia, here we go. We do, as Mark says, with the Max Verstappen photo. Love that. I hope you're looking forward to the Grand Prix. Yeah, we do. There needs to be a lot. We just need to be ruthless. I think that Celtic's a club that sometimes struggles with sentimentality, keeping players around. Sometimes we are cutthroat with players, but some just need to go. Some shouldn't be here, you know. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Oh, thank you, Mr. Celtic. That's very generous of you. Very, very generous of you. Mr. Celtic 12. £10. Thank you for the £10. And how many times this season will we hear the tempo wasn't quick enough? Also, is this style more suited to Europe? As it seems, as it seems, we'll see a lot of these. We'll see a lot of these results. Also, the depth is not at all. Obviously, we spoke a lot about the depth. Listen, the tempo's been great for the past few weeks. I think we really got over that hurdle at the start of the season really well, and it was always going to be difficult to adapt. How many times are we going to hear it this season? We'll just need to wait and see. But that's something I'm sure that Brendan Rodgers will want to bring out, or want to get rid of, sorry, I should say, from being in the lingo. He'll know that himself. He won't want to hear the same thing. He won't want to be saying the same thing about the tempo not being there. Is it more suited to Europe? Well, evidently, it's doing well in Europe. You know, we've got a good result against Atletico midweek. We were really unlucky against Lazio. I don't think that necessarily means it's not suited to Scotland. Brendan Rodgers won 7 out of 7 playing this style of football. Is it not suited? I don't think that's the question. I think sometimes teams do well at countering it, and then we just wait too long to do something. You know, I don't know if there maybe just needs to be a plan B that can be executed more efficiently, rather than just holding on and hoping we'll find that goal because we're the better team. Sometimes it doesn't work as simple as that. So I don't know, maybe there has to be a plan B, or, you know, a bit of forward thinking and how to unlock these games, because the longer they go 0-0, all of our best performances this year, which it sounds like this is going to sound like one of those stupid statements. You know how sometimes, though, you win 1-0, but you've played really, really well. I feel like we've not really had that. What we've had is games where we've scored early and we've done the job, and that's been our best performances. We need to try and get to that. You know what I mean? We need to try and get to that and just find these goals early, because it really helps the confidence in this side. And I think that I used the word, you know, alleviate earlier on. I think that players just feel so much more comfortable, and they always look better when they come off the park, and you're up 2-3-0. And that's probably because it takes a lot of pressure off their shoulders. But I just feel like we also don't scrutinise them as heavily at that point, because when you are 3-4-0 up in a game and subs come on, you're just like, oh, good to see him get a run out. Whereas when you're drawing 0-0 and somebody comes on, you're putting your hopes and your dreams on this guy changing the game. So, you know, you do scrutinise them a lot differently. But thank you for the donation, Mr. Celtic. After Wednesday, hopefully we'll be back to business anyway. I hope we don't need to talk about speed or tempo being too slow for much longer. A lot of people saying that Tello's not ready yet. Brendan Rodgers said that he's not adapted yet. He obviously doesn't rate Vata. I spoke about this in a live stream a couple of weeks ago. Vata's not in the first team for an obvious reason, because he's not that standard. As much as people want him to be, and they're like, oh, he looks good. He does look good. But there's a difference between looking good and then actually being ready to play at the top level. And evidently, he's not there yet. Ange's never seen it. Ange obviously gave him a couple of games here and there, minutes, but come on, let's be real. Ange's never done it, Brendan never done it. There's a long way for the boy to go. Would I like to see him get on the park ahead of Forrest? Maybe. But there's obviously a reason that he's not involved. Because he don't think he's there yet. Which is not to say he never will be there. He's just not there yet. Let's see. What else? Why didn't Rodgers keep Kyogo on and go 3-5-2 with he changed it the other night to get a goal, so why not yesterday? Good question, Paul. But did he change? But this is the thing. It depends how you look at it. If you glass half empty or glass half full. Because when Brendan Rodgers made that substitution on Wednesday, I didn't look at it as trying to get the goal and going 3-5-2. I looked at it as shoving on another centre half and going 5-3-2. Steady the defence up. That I didn't look at it in the attacking sense. I looked in the defending sense. Like, okay, let's try and protect this draw we've got here. Let's try and get a result against Atletico by bringing on an extra defender. That's the way that I looked at that. So, I mean, I think that changing system isn't as easy as what people make out. First of all, it's not like you do that and bang. You know, these things are well drilled, and you need to be understanding on every page, every aspect of all of it, every page of the book. You need to know what's happening, what's been done, and are these players capable of that? I don't know. Obviously, if Brendan Rodgers isn't doing it, there's a reason for it, but who knows? Let's see. We've had 3 strikers before, and I think it's time we brought a new one in. Not one to write off. If he comes on every game and doesn't score, he's going to get very much he can't handle. This is basically my exact thinking on the situation, TJ. This is literally stolen from my mind. I don't write off, and I hope he flourishes, and I hope that penny drops for him. But I still think that I agree. There's no problem with having 3 strikers. I mean, God, our most successful period of the 21st century was with 3 strikers: Hartson, Larsson, and Sutton. So, like, there's nothing wrong with having 3 strikers. And you know, I remember at a point we had Dembele, Griffiths, Edouard. We can have 3 strikers on the side, and we do need one. I think one of the problems is right now is our starting 11's got too comfortable, which is a good thing. I like consistency. I like knowing who the 11's going to be. But I think there might be a bit of a problem in terms of nobody's really dislodging anybody from their space in the team right now, apart from Scales, who's taken Navrowski's space. But attacking, like, Maida, Palma, and Kyogo aren't going to get dropped. They're not. Maybe for a game to rest them or something, but no, like, their place isn't up for jeopardy, not anytime soon with a Vata injured. So I think that wee bit of competition is maybe missing from the squad at the minute. But we need to lose or draw to learn or from mistakes. Yeah. As I said, look, listen, Caden. To sit and believe that you're going to win 30 out of 30 is like, wake yourself up, shake yourself down. It's never going to happen. You'll never see that ever in your life. 30 wins out of 30 ain't going to happen. You just can't do it. And this is one of the ones we don't win this season. And we will learn from it. You know, sometimes these results you can spur you on to do something great. And it's ripple effect, isn't it? Like, everything happens for a reason. So, yeah. Let's see. What else shall I bring up then? 25 minutes into the stream. I'm actually knackered today, you know that. Absolutely. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm absolutely cream cracker. Do you know what? I'm quite... Apparently the stream's lagging a bit. This might be the YouTube problems coming in. I'll try and wrap it up in the next few minutes anyway. Probably do another 5 minutes and then wrap it up anyway. By the sounds of it, I'm glad that it's one of the games that I've missed this season. One of the only games I'll miss. Probably the only game I'll miss. Glad. I mean, I'm off to Madrid on Monday, so... I mean, I hope I'm not going over there to see an absolute stinker, but... I'm glad it's one of the ones that I've missed, and maybe that's why we drew. Maybe I took my luck away from us. But every time I checked Twitter to see what was going on, I've seen portions of the game. I think I've seen like the opening 10 minutes, and then I've seen like the 5-10 minutes before half time. That's all I really got to watch live, and it did seem like naff, didn't it? It was just a naff game. Nobody really elevated the level on either side, Hibs or Celtic. And if you've not got one team trying to bring out the best in another, you know, it creates a naff kind of game. So, yeah. Anything else? I hope so, Danny. I hope so. I mean, I'm going to Madrid, as I said, next week, and hopefully we spar some life into the team. That would be very nice. Just to come back from this. I'm looking forward to Wednesday though, and I hate the midweek winter games when they're not Europe. You know, I hate a midweek winter game. But I'm looking forward to Wednesday because I think that it's a real test of our character, and I enjoy that. I think that we thrive on that. We have for years. When character's been questioned at Celtic, aside from that one season, we've done well. We've always kind of, pulled through. So, Christopher saying Celtic will keep improving in UCL. They'll take the first, but win against Lazio away, and you would take first place. Oh no, I don't think first place is coming anytime soon, Christopher. Who knows? Keep dreaming. Rangers get a trophy for only being 5 points. You'd think so. You'd think so with some of the reaction. But listen, that's the thing. You don't want to hand them on a serious note, and not that we're here to talk about Rangers or anything. You don't want to give them any momentum. Let them have, if they want a bit of false hope or false confidence, that's always great. But, you don't want to give them any momentum. So that's why we need to come back and win, strong win on Wednesday, and then keep that going from there. Do I want to see changes to the team on Wednesday? I can't think of any changes that really stick out in my head. You know that, Mike? I really can't think of anything like, oh, that has to happen. I'm just like, if there's changes, there's changes. I really want to see Nawrocki get some minutes in his legs, I must say, but how does that happen without dropping Scales or Vickers? Difficult, innit? So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's see. Yeah. Still unbeaten. Thank you. I did enjoy my Halloween night out. Thank you, Ewan. Thank you. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there for tonight then, because we've nearly came to about half an hour. I'm absolutely knackered. It's not a hangover. Barely was. I woke up feeling great this morning. I'm just really tired for some reason, which is weird considering all I've done is watch football and fail in a video earlier on. But I'm going to wrap it up there, so thank you everybody. We'll be back in the channel tomorrow for a video. I've seen a few people asking about career mode. I want to get round to recording an episode, but I've been so busy, and Celtic have been busy as well, so it's been a real sort of, hard to get one done, but it will be back. I'll be back tomorrow anyway to talk about whatever's in the news, and ahead of Wednesday, of course. Got a lot to do. So yeah, thank you for coming out this evening. I very much appreciate it. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, and we'll talk next time.